on the one Premier League game this evening. Man United 1, Newcastle 0. Patrick Dorgu scoring for United in the first half to give them 3 points up to 5th in the table on 29 points. 03717 223344 is the number to call. Chris has done that. Chris, big Man United fan, how are you? How are you feeling this evening, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, lads, and thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on, mate. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I just think what I witnessed tonight and what I've heard so far from some of the callers is pretty delusional. I wasn't over enamoured with the performance by United tonight by any short of the imagination. Yeah, we started off well. It was a good first half. We kept shape. But in the second half we came out and we just conceded possession. I think Amorim doesn't understand the United DNA, and I look at some of the substitutions he made tonight. The last 5-10 minutes of the game, he completely destabilised us by taking the likes of Shaw off and Martinez off. And, I have a look at the players' attitudes during the game. I think at one stage, it went out for a throw-in. And you had Dallo running 100 yards to like high-five Martinez, who was then high-fiving Casemiro. And I think, come on, lads, it's Man United. It's the club of, the club of legends, one of the world's biggest sporting organisations. And then, you have a look at that depth and quality and lack of it. And for me, Joshua Zirkzee, he's not a United player. I wish him all the very success. I hope he makes a fantastic career. But I don't want to see that lad again in a red shirt. Because, he just doesn't cut the mustard. He's not at the races at all. And, I'll speak as far as what Amorim's concerned. I don't think Amorim's a Premiership manager. He might be in a few years, but definitely not for a club of Man United stature.
So you think, Chris, you're not sure, looking long-term with Ruben Amorim, Man United, he's been there now for over a year, you're not sure, you haven't seen enough evidence to suggest that this guy, coaching-wise, is good enough to take Man United forward and long-term back to where you want to be. Is that fair?
Definitely not. I mean, look, you have a look at history breeds clues as much as anything. You have a look at his points tally. You have a look at the style of football he plays. And tonight he was forced to change it, right? And that's the reason why he reverted back in the second half. Okay, he didn't want to. I think he's a good manager. But he's more continental-based football rather than in the Premiership. For me, if I was a Newcastle fan tonight, I'd be going back up there. Disappointing that they didn't actually get something from the game, and that's the truth of it. I watch United week in, week out. The last three games, when you look at the performances against Villa, which was naivety, which cost us the result. But the last three home games against Bournemouth, Everton and West Ham, we're just not at the races, lads. It's as simple as that.
Chris, his in-game management I find baffling. Like, I very rarely watch a Man United game and think that he makes Man United better and improves them with his in-game substitutions.
No, absolutely. He tinkers around with a back four or back three. Unnecessarily. That destabilises the game. We were defending, we were hanging on for the last 10, 15 minutes of that match. And 3 minutes before the final whistle, or 10 minutes before the final whistle, should I say, he takes off Luke Shaw and Martinez. Don't understand it. Where's the rationale for that? It just doesn't make sense. Because if you're a Newcastle player there and you think to yourself, hang on a minute, they're making these changes here, critical changes to the back line. You're going to fancy your chances. How do you warm into a match? If you're a player coming on at that length. I've never played the game professionally, but Carlton, you have. Surely to God, it takes you, minutes to settle into the game. It just causes confusion, I think. And this is why I just think, you hear it being sung out the Stretford end, we're backing from the Stretford end. You're deluded. You're absolutely deluded. That man is no good for our club, and it's as simple as that.
For me, Chris, you've made a good few points there. I'm not going to lie to you. I see what you're saying, and I know what Man United means, not just to Man United fans, but to the Premier League. Like you guys are like the poster boys of football in England, in the UK. So now, he said that they want to go back to the glory days, but they have to forget about what they've done before. So that's a fine line, what he said there, because I remember him saying something along those lines. And I was like, okay, so now they got to create their own future, to create their own history now, because the yesteryear is gone. Now we've got to look to the future. So for me, I know what you're saying, Chris. You guys have to understand, and you've got to reprogram your mind of what the Manchester United standard is. We know what the standard is, but I just don't think you're going to be there just yet. You will get there with time, but you need to have somewhere or something to go for. If you're chopping and changing managers every year and every 2 years, say, and it's not working, you're not going to get to those dizzy heights again, and you need to. So I think you're just going to need to just trust the process on this one. Trust me when I say this.
The problem I have with that is I'm not sure what this process is.
Well,
like, I don't see enough evidence in the first year of this process.
I see the evidence right now.
Places.
I see the
they
evidence.
Finished 15th last season.
I see the evidence right now, and they're in 5th place. All right, so you can talk all you want and say anything you like. Is in game management, mate. They're 5th place in the Premier League and have potential to go on again. All right, so that's what it is. It's the proof's of the pudding. Although, yes, when you look at it and everyone can see the game, but right now he's doing what it takes to get to 5th point. Do you know what I mean? 5th place in this league is unbelievable. I see it with us. We are struggling right now as West Ham, and we'd love to be in the position that Man United are in right now.
Chris, thank you very much for the call. We're going to head and talk cricket very, very shortly. Day 2 of the 4th Test match in Melbourne. Looks lovely, doesn't it, Carlton, by the way, there. Do you want to paint the picture for our audience?
It's sunny. That's what it was.
Just sunny. That's all you need to know. It's sunny,
mate.
And Scotty Boland, the night watchman, Travis Head, are out to bat for Australia, 4 without loss, leading by 46 runs in the 3rd innings. The Barmy Army fans are singing Jerusalem. We're talking to talkSPORT's cricket editor, John Norman, in a couple of minutes.